Good evening, good evening. Somebody told me last week that instead of wearing a tiara, I should have been wearing a crown. So I thought I would come to you this evening with a crown as opposed to a tiara. And hi Holly, how are you, gorgeous? Nice to have you here. I wanted to have a chat today about when we don't go to the media. Now, I've spoken about this before, but for those of us that are based in Perth or WA, hey Jules, it's a really great opportunity to demonstrate when we don't go, oh, thank you darling, when we don't go to the media. So I was sitting on the couch last night with my 13-year-old son and I was watching ABC News and I saw the incident between the Dockers and the Eagles where Gaff punched this poor 18-year-old Dockers player in the jaw, broke his jaw and knocked out teeth. And I actually think I was at an event with the Melville-Coburn Chamber of Commerce only about 8 weeks ago, and I met this young player because there was two new players that had come across from Victoria and he looks just like one of them. So I really felt terrible for this boy, or this young man, as no doubt pretty much everybody else did. And immediately I thought, oh goodness, this is going to be all over the news tomorrow. And sure enough, when I've tuned into the radio today and I looked at the West Australian, it has been all about this story of this poor young man, being punched in the jaw and not being able to play for the rest of the season. Horrific injuries, unprovoked, pretty terrible. And I'm sure it would get East Coast coverage as well. But here in Perth, I turned on the ABC radio this afternoon. Both times I was talking about this particular incident. The front page of the newspaper was about this incident. And I know that if I go and put on the news now, this incident will be covered. So this is a great opportunity to demonstrate. This is when we don't go to the media, because all eyes of the media, particularly in Perth, are talking about this this story. So, I just thought I'd jump on and do, hey Katrina, I just thought I'd jump on and just say, because it's been so prevalent, and I'm sure that if you're in Perth, it'd be really hard to have missed this story breaking overnight, that unless your media release, or unless you've got, unless you can actually comment on this story, don't bother going to the media. Now, where are the opportunities that maybe you could have commented on this story? Well, if you were in particularly an area of conflict management, you might be someone who deals with masculinity. Oh, Kat, no worries. So the story I was talking about, the incident between the Eagles player and the Docker player that occurred yesterday in the Derby match, where the Eagles player punched the young 18-year-old Docker in the jaw, unprovoked, broke his jaw and knocked out some of his teeth. So that's just been all over the media today. And someone was saying earlier that there was 17 articles on WA Today alone on this particular topic. So it's really what you call a trending topic. And it's when we go, okay, maybe we had a media release we wanted to send out. We'll just hold it for today because it's not going to get a look in. So it's just been, oh, hey, Robin. It's just been everywhere today. So where you would comment is if that particular story was relevant to your business. So what I was going to go into a bit of a brainstorm here was if you were somebody who spoke about masculinity, addressing men, if you were to talk about violence, violence in the community, violence in sports, what else? You might be a sports psychologist, you could be a physiotherapist, you could be a dentist who does reconstructive surgery, implanting teeth. You could be a football coach, an up-and-coming football coach. You might be, what else? A fitness coach, talking about rehab and time. You could be even a lawyer. So if this particular area was relevant to your business, that's where you'd comment. But if it wasn't relevant to business, then you don't comment because you're not going to get a look in. And also, it can set you up for disappointment. So if you were to send out your very first media release, this is the first day that you're going to contact the media, and you've kind of got your blinkers on and you're going, yeah, this is great, I'm going to get into this today, and you send out your media release and you're not looking, you're not paying attention to what's trending, you will be severely disappointed, and potentially you might take it personally that your media release isn't good enough, or that worse still, you're not good enough and the media don't want to talk to you, simply because you haven't paid attention to the headlines, you haven't kept your ear to the ground. I always say keep your ear to the ground, look at what's trending, and you'll know if it's a good day to send out a media release or not. And today, my friends, was not a great day to send out a media release unless you were commenting directly on that story, because it was everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, thanks, Robin. Pleasure, pleasure. Because when we don't comment in the media on a regular basis, or we don't have that media experience, we don't know to look to these things, and you know, it can have a huge impact on your self-esteem if you send something to the media on a day like today and they don't get back to you. So I just wanted to jump on quickly and give you a little heads up that yeah, big incident that happened, and probably best to wait a couple of days before you, if you've got a big story that you wanted to get out to the media and to comment on. So yeah. Isn't it funny how this crown kind of goes wobble, wobble, wobble? It's funny. All right, well, I'm going to jump off. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any comments and you're watching this replay, feel free to leave them. If you have commented yourself on this particular... hey Sally. If you wanted... Sorry, if you thought this would be something that you could have commented on, if it's your particular area of expertise and you thought, oh, that's perfect for me, I really should have been in the media today, let us know, and we can throw around or brainstorm some ideas on some of the angles that you could have taken today. Yes, so I am off to get dinner ready. Many thanks, blessings for tuning in. I do have a media workshop coming up on the 23rd and 24th of August. Carmel! Hey lovely, hey lovely. I'm about to jump off, so you'll have to jump back on and watch the replay. But yes, thank you for tuning in, my dear. Thank you. Really nice to have you ladies online. Have a wonderful evening. Much love. It's bye from me.